Hey guys, Comic Boom here to talk about Captain Marvel, specifically issues 125 and 126. It's Marvel's new legacy initiative. Margaret Stahl, the writer for Captain Marvel, is telling the story of the series is called Dark Origin, and apparently it might be a potential rewrite or at least a retelling of Captain Marvel's origin. This is coming off the heels of all the bad publicity Marvel's gotten and their low sales, and coming off the heels of Secret Empire. Apparently, Captain Marvel thinks it's a good idea to fly off into the galaxy away from Earth, despite the fact that she was largely responsible for almost Earth's complete destruction given her fascist actions in Civil War II, leading into her abject failures in Secret Empire. Coming out of Secret Empire, she got a little bit of redemption. She had some sort of a reckoning or some sort of self-reflection where she realized that she did play a role in Hydra Captain America's success. And then lo and behold, flowing out of that, it appears that Marvel has directed that Margaret Stahl apparently tell a story that completely removes Carol Danvers from any sort of accountability to the citizens of Earth for creating the situation that almost led to their complete annihilation by Hydra Cap, right? So, what better way to avoid responsibility for a bad storyline than to completely ignore it and delve into another one, and that's what they're doing in Captain Marvel. But let's talk about this. Now, this is called Dark Origins, and it's interesting because at the end of issue 25, they actually say what Captain Marvel's origins is. Now, Captain Marvel's origin, it's of interest to me because I frankly never really knew what it was. I never paid much attention. I always found it to be confusing. I knew she was an Air Force pilot, but I wasn't entirely sure how she got her powers, other than the fact that she got into a flight, in a test flight or some damn thing. She got into an accident, hit another plane or something, got some powers. I don't know. Anyways, this is what it says. It says, she says at the end of 25, "My name is Carol Danvers. Ever since I was a little kid, I didn't fit in. I always wanted to fly, blah, 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 blah." She joined the Air Force. During a battle, I collided with a piece of Kree technology, the Psyche Magnetron, a powerful device that can change imagination into reality. After that brief encounter, I was part human, part Kree, but all Captain Marvel. So, colliding with the Psyche Magnetron gave Carol Danvers the power she has. And the Psyche Magnetron apparently had the device that could change imagination into reality. And ever since then, Carol Danvers has the energy absorbing power she does. She can emit energy from her hands. Anyways, that's her origin. Now we have Dark Origin for Captain Marvel. Just a couple of things right off the bat. I don't like this storyline. It's confusing. It's all over the place. Unfortunately, its greatest weakness is that it tries to build on what came before, and unfortunately what came before was really bad writing. It has Captain Marvel, for some reason in issue 25, there's a character that nobody liked called Bean, that was a little baby alien entity, was I don't even know because I don't even care anymore. Went off, and Captain Marvel helped a character named Bean, who ended up being wandering off into the multi-universe again. And now Bean, who's now suddenly an adult, has warned Captain Marvel of a dark entity that's going to be attacking the universe. Blah blah blah, and then she just disappears. It's amazing, you ever find it kind of funny how these people that always appear out of nowhere to warn people of things, you think they would just show up and get to the point? If somebody's going to warn me of something and they don't have a lot of time, why would they engage in small talk? Again, I mean, well, I guess that's why they call it bad writing, right? But in any event, Bean shows up, warns Captain Marvel, suddenly disappears. Captain Marvel then decides that she's got to wander off into space to look for Bean. Forget about Earth, forget about, holding yourself accountable, apologizing to the people of Earth, forget about making amends for your fascist actions, forget about helping the actual people of the planet Earth that you purported to protect. Just wander off into space. So that's what Captain Marvel's doing here. Also, just a quick shout out, it's important for me to express my intense dislike of the cover. These are ugly covers. Probably probably of all the covers that Marvel has out right now, this is the ugliest. The logo, the old Captain Marvel logo is ugly. And the covers are ugly. Phil Noto, I think it's Phil Noto. I gotta call out, yeah, Phil Noto, the cover artist. This is a guy that used to hit it out of the park. He used to be such, I mean, he's great for cheesecake covers and stuff, drawing, and I just find it ironic. I remember Phil Noto, I think he did Codename Knockout for Vertigo, fantastic covers, and here he is. I just find it ironic that a guy that's so good at doing cheesecake when he wants to ends up drawing Carl Manvers. Look at these covers. I mean, first of all, this cover here, 126, it doesn't even, this scene doesn't even take place in the comic book. This is boring as hell. Good God, Alpha Flight is such a boring team. Alpha Flight is such a shitty team. Such a horribly bad combination of putting Alpha Flight with Captain Marvel to begin with. Carol Danvers needs to focus on making herself interesting, and she's not going to do that by just running off into space. But that's what she does. In issue 126, she ends up in an alternate universe where Alpha Flight's not called Alpha Flight, but it's called Zeta Flight, and everyone's darker. And in this alternate universe, where she followed Mim, apparently this Mim character who stole some of her blood to give to someone else for reasons which we don't know. She was chasing this Mim character while getting ready to go out to search the universe for Bean. In chasing the Mim character, she gets sort of sucked into this black hole or whatever, and she comes out, and she's now in an alternate universe. Now, you actually have to read the comic and read it very closely to figure out that she's actually in an alternate universe. Black Widow is still alive. Black Widow is called Widower. Everything's different in this universe, except the art. Which I gotta give this a failure on the art. Artistically, it's rendered fine, but where the art fails is there's a failure of matching the art to the narrative. I can't believe a layperson like me actually has to tell an artist this, but when you're telling a story of a dark universe, you have to give some artistic you have to artistically render it different than another universe. Why wouldn't you want to do that? You're not helping the reader along at all by not doing that. There should be some visual reference, there should be some visual differences between a dark universe and a normal universe. Even in the characters themselves, there ought to be more than just slight differences in dialogue and names. Again, this artist, and the artist I'm going to name here, the interior artist is Michelle Bandini. Michelle Bandini is a good artist. I will compliment her. I do like her art. It's a good art. She's a good artist, and it's well drawn. It is. And she's actually, and the colorist is pretty good too. The colorist is Eric Arcinegia, and the letter is good too, Joe Caramagna. But unfortunately, it just doesn't fit. You know, it's actually beautiful, some of the scenes here when she's out in space. It looks real cool. It actually looks pretty good. But it just doesn't really fit the narrative. This is supposed to be a dark universe, a dark place. Carol Danvers' facial expressions are all, like, they're just wrong. She's got to look, something's off. It doesn't fit the narrative. If this is about a dark origin, this should really, the cover is completely wrong for this. Totally wrong type of cover art. This is so, everything's off. Everything is completely off. The cover art's inappropriate. The interior art is something that I would expect to see in, and I mean this as a compliment, this should be a Betty and Veronica in space, or or Archie goes to the moon. This is just not appropriate for Captain Marvel. Again, the logo's way off too. I'm just not interested in the Dark Origins. Where's this going? Why should I care? I don't care. Like, what's all? This isn't actually an origin tale. This is still dealing with all the uninteresting baggage from the previous story arcs, which were awful, I have to say. That immigration tale with Bean, and now this, and now I don't like where it's going. It's just not for me. It's just not for me. And I have to You know, there's a reason why the editor here, Axel Alonso, there's a reason why he was fired. The other 3 editors here have a lot. I mean, I can't believe this comic has 3 editors on it. 3 editors, Sana Amanad, Mark Basso, and Sarah Brunstad. I don't know what you need. I mean, clearly there's no editorial direction in this comic whatsoever. If this had editorial control, there's at least 3 things I can think of off the top of my head that are immediately wrong and should be scrapped immediately and should not even form part of this narrative. Should not have formed part of this narrative. Number 1, this should have been scrapping all the previous story arcs. This should have just been Carol Danvers deciding to leave Earth for a sabbatical and just going off into space. Completely divorced in every way, shape, and form from every single previous story arc. Because the previous story arc will guarantee that this Dark Origin story will not take. It will not take. Because you're immediately lost. The explanation in here, by the way, this is all wrong too. So that's the first thing. Second thing is, why is this front page still here? Why is this image still being used? It's Civil War II, okay? I mean, I know she's a fascist, but it's like you're reminding us every issue that she's a fascist because that's the fascist look. That's what the fascist did. That's what a fascist looks like when she's screaming at Tony Stark. That's what a fascist looks like. Now, to make it even worse, up on the dialogue here, it describes her as the most popular superhero on Earth. Captain Marvel is not the most popular superhero on Earth. I've been through this before. She's a proven, demonstrably shown she's a fascist. There's a reason why she had to have a reckoning and basically a redemption in Secret Empire #7. But now, I would have thought that the 3 editors on this title maybe would clue into that. Do they know nothing about this character? Have they not actually read Civil War II, Secret Empire? Even the previous issues for that matter? Unbelievable. But hey, you know, this is something where it's hard for me to blame Margaret Stoll, because or Margaret Stahl. She's she's doing her job. She's naturally, of course, she's going to build from her previous stories. You expect a writer to do that. But it's an editor's job to say, sorry, we don't like the previous stories. They're not going anywhere. It's not going to work. We have a movie coming out next year. We want Dark Origins to hit. We want it to make sense. We want this to be a self-contained 6-issue story arc that we can sell trades on, because no one's going to buy our trades for the last 5 years, because that's why we got rid of Axel Alonso, because no one's buying them. No one's buying the trades, and there's going to be a gap internationally because of it. That's why they got the new CB Salunsky in. In any event, I digress. But there's a reason why this stuff has to be done, and why this stuff is just not working. But I could go on and on. The less than great thing about this as well is, at a time when the Marvel Universe needs to be focusing on correcting itself, on getting its universe on track, what the hell are you doing by putting her in another universe? Isn't that your way of saying, Marvel, that our 616 universe sucks, and so the only way we can make Captain Marvel interesting is by putting her in another universe? So at least we can maybe pull Black Widow, because Black Widow's dead in our universe. So let's have an issue where Black Widow stars, and then let's put a scene on the cover that doesn't even take place in the comic. These two never fight, they never hit each other. As a matter of fact, they're even friends in the comic book, if you can believe that. Although they're friends, but they're not really friends, because this has every cliche in the book. Good God. If I'm somebody who's interested in Captain Marvel, and this is supposed to be a Dark Origin tale, give me some indication that, at the beginning, okay, in this issue, it already told us what the origin was at the end of this issue, 125. So now all of a sudden we're off into a dark universe. What does that have to do with her origin? What does that have to do with anything? Now, I know I'm supposed to wait and be interested in everything else, but this is going nowhere. This is not interesting. You know, it's anyways. I can't recommend this. This takes place in space. It's supposed to be kick-ass. And if everybody cared so goddamn much about Carol Danvers, why don't you have the same artist? Why is the artist? Why is that? Time out. Okay, we're back. David Marquez. He's the artist on Defenders. He was the artist. He's that great artist that they keep insisting that Carol Danvers looks like. See, that's the only picture they have of Captain Marvel looking like a woman. So I figure that's why they keep using David Marquez's art. I don't know. I mean, okay, in fairness, she looks like a woman throughout the issue, more or less. Still a titless wonder, but whatever. David Marquez, though, phenomenal artist. He's on Defenders. Bendis has left Marvel because even he's sick of Marvel. So why don't they take David Marquez off Defenders and put him on Captain Marvel? I mean, if this is supposed to be your marquee character going into 2018, again, you wonder why Axel Alonso is fired. You wonder why Joe Quesada's in, who has to give inspirational speeches to the young editorial team, right? They're idiots. Good grief. Take David Marquez off Defenders immediately, put him on Captain Marvel. Fire the editors off Captain Marvel immediately, replace them with literally anybody. Anybody who's actually read a comic book in their life. I put in parenthesis. Okay? And then move forward. Okay? But good grief. Wish I had something more nice to say about Captain Marvel. I don't. I don't recommend it, guys. Don't bother picking it up. It's worse than it's ever been. But by all means, you can pick up these little pops, because at least here, there's a little bit of femininity on these little pops, these little pop heads or bop heads or whatever the hell they are. Carl, say hi, Carl. Hi. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. Comic Boom.